And we are back, folks. Another edition of the Michigan Insider Defensive Film Study with Vance Bedford, doing a little technical upgrading. So we will be shifting from Zoom to StreamYard. This is our first time on StreamYard doing this session, getting some new equipment for telestration. So look for the telestrations to come back next week. We'll still bring you plays this week that we will talk about and dissect. Without telestrations this week, be back with the telestrations next week. But we got former Texas, Louisville, Oklahoma State defensive coordinator, former Michigan defensive backs coach, Vance Bedford, who, Vance, I got a lot of comments, a lot of requests. They said, oh, Vance is taking orders from Colorado. If I just tell Vance what I want, he'll take care of me. Is that right,
I figured
Vance?
I would get some orders. I'm all for it. Just let me know. I got a couple of places I can call and I can hook some people up.
Well, hey, Vance, Michigan, for a good portion of that second half, they were looking for a hookup from their offense. I'm sure you've been on the side, uh, you know, coaching in the game where your unit just needs a blow.
Yeah.
You just need a break. You need a break for the guys to be able to gather themselves, endurance wise, to get the win back, and then to be able to make the adjustments. I mean, it takes time to be able to break it down from a coaching perspective, and then impart that wisdom upon the players in a way where they could go out on the field and execute. There was no time for Michigan to do Michigan's defense to do either of those things in the second half with 4 straight 3-and-outs by the offense.
Yeah, it's difficult. I've been in situations where I was in a spread up-tempo offenses. I'm not for that because there could be 3 plays and out in 45 seconds. 2 things happen. Your players get tired. You can't make adjustments. And they're going to go out there and continue to make the same mistakes. And that happened to Michigan a little bit the other night. I mean, the first half, the offense did some good things, moved the ball. Defense had a chance to rest. But in the second half now, Rutgers came out and they just controlled the clock. They lowered the box and they told Michigan, if you're going to beat us, throw the football. And I got to be honest, when it came down to it, they couldn't throw the football well enough on either side of the ball, Rutgers and Michigan, to beat anybody on Saturday. They both, in my opinion, were very average to below average.
Yeah, that is true, and that's fortunately a saving grace for Michigan. I mean, they had enough to worry about with that power read scheme, Vance, because we will get into talking about second half adjustments for Rutgers because they ran some power stuff. I mean, I counted maybe a couple of times in the first half. Second half of this game, Vance, 18 plays, 18 power scheme plays. They running power. They're running the swing off the power. They're running backside hitch off the power. They're doing, and Michigan is trying to figure out a way. Meanwhile, their offense is putting them right back on the field. It's tough to make adjustments, and they're getting tired at the same time.
You go in the first half, though, they might have ran 1 or 2 power reads, but not the formation they ran in the second half. In the second half, they came up in unbalanced formation. So, therefore, Michigan had to adjust the defensive front. They brought a safety down in the box, but at times they were still short of guys ran under blocks to over blocks. The defensive end don't know if I should take the quarterback or should I take the guy come to the field. I don't know if Michigan was prepared for that particular play because to come out in the second half and run it that many times, you have to practice that play to be good at it, and you have to defend that play in practice to be able to stop it. So I don't think Michigan was really prepared for that particular play. And I think you saw that in the second half because there are a lot of blown assignments. Who do I take? But the biggest thing is formation adjustments. They gave them problems with unbalanced formations, receivers over. A couple of times they were outnumbered. They were cracked. A lot of bad things happened for them in the second half. And going back to what you just said, they were on the field way too much.
All right, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to bring up the first power read. It was a 3rd and 6 in the first quarter, Vance, and I'll share that with you now. And this is the first one, Vance, that they ran, and Michigan bottled this one up pretty well.
Mm-hmm. See, Michigan has a box loaded right now. I mean, they have numbers in the box to defend this play. It's really a normal formation if you watch it. So it's nothing that's uncharacteristic about the formation. Number one, they get penetration up the field. But again, when the defensive end goes up the field, that is a read for the quarterback to keep the football. Okay, so the pulling guard coming around, he's looking to block the linebacker. And in that particular situation, your people inside the nose and the 3 technique, They did a great job. So if they don't, this ball might go for 15 yards.
Yeah, linebacker got off a block and made that tackle
They did.
on the
But again, you in a
quarterback.
normal formation. In the second half, you saw unbalanced formations, which gave them angles and numbers to block the play successfully.
If you're paying attention to like the play sequences, you just didn't see a lot of it in the
No.
first half, Vance. And so that's why this was one of those times where they found something. They made an adjustment. They come out in the second half, and man, it's working. We're gonna ride this to death. But before we get there, we saw some more examples of really, really strong defense. Let's remember, defense gave up a touchdown in this game, Vance.
Yeah.
Defense was able, despite all that, was able to bow up at the end and make two straight stops to close out the game, which was huge. And they were, I think they stopped 3 fourth downs in this game. Let's look at the first fourth down where they tried to fool them, Vance. I'm sure you've been on the side where a coach tried to fool your guys on the field. This time it didn't work for Greg Schiano and his guys in Scarlet. They couldn't fool Michigan on this fourth and short play. Here we go. So they're giving you a little confused look, right? We try to make it seem like they're confused out there.
Yeah. The two tackles went into the A gap. When they saw the guy going to the center, they did a great job here. Had great penetration. A great adjustment by Michigan's defensive line. Great pushback. That's an outstanding job. That is Big Ten physical football. That's how Michigan should look all the time. Bo
See, and
Schembechler would be very proud right now.
you pointed out the guys, Vance, Mozzie Smith, and Chris Hinton right there in the middle. Now they don't get credit for the tackle, right? They don't show up on the stat sheet. But as I heard the comment, I'm sitting in the box and they're talking about who made the tackle. I'm like, man, who made the play? These two guys on the inside made the play.
Yes, they did. That was the key right there. That was huge.
All right, so the defense is doing a pretty good job
I
of
thought they played
making,
really well. I mean,
yeah,
look at the score. They gave up some yardage, but at the end of the day, it's about red zone defense. It's about third down and fourth down. It's about scoring defense. It's not about all the other things people talk about. Look at all the yards they gave up. If you can win on third down and control people in the red zone, you could win a lot of ball games.
a couple years ago, Michigan's playing at Rutgers, and there's so the back number one, Pacheco. Vance, when I say what you say, you got some guys that decide, some of your defensive backs say they step up and they say, man, we're gonna get in the race and we're gonna see who's fastest, right? Isn't that what you said?
Exactly.
And every guy on Michigan's team lost that race, including number 2, Brad Hawkins. I'm bringing this up for a reason because Brad came back in this game. He had a shot at number 2 who ran away from him a couple years ago in that foot race that you're talking about. But Vance, this is one of the best defensive plays of the game. This kind of play get your name called on draft day. You make a play like this. I'm gonna bring this up because this was one that you definitely shouted out. Brad Hawkins tracking down Pacheco as he tried to turn the corner, and this was a big time play. Definitely a big time play if it gets Vance Bedford's attention. This is number 2, the safety, making it happen.
That is a fantastic play. And you know what's great about that play is that, again, they had the blitz from the field, bringing the outside back on the safety. They're in zero coverage. But I'm going to point out the outside back at number 41 first. Okay, as he comes, he actually makes the ball go deep. So now that's the key, right? You're talking about he don't make a stat, but that was the key to this play. So now it becomes a foot race, but the tailback has to bubble deeper. Defensive back takes a great angle. He makes the play. We stop him on third down and 1. It's a great play by those two guys.
Yeah, and Brad Hawkins like, see, there I go. Hey, man. Hey, look, you had to feel good for Brad. That dude ran away from Brad. When I say, now look, if they got in the foot race, yeah, Pacheco probably wins. I mean, let's be real. But on that play in the foot race, Brad Hawkins had his revenge. He got a little bit of get back, a little bit of get right on him. And I felt good for Brad on that play. Felt real good for him on that play, Van. So again, defense is really holding them to 3 points. For the half, Michigan goes into the break up 20-3, Vance, and it's one of those things where you feel like, boy, if Michigan could have got that touchdown heading into the break, game might be over, right? But that it was a field goal maybe allows Rutgers to stay in its game plan. Like if you make them come out saying, man, we got to throw this rock, that's not where they want to be with their quarterback, to your point earlier.
Yeah.
Right. But it was still in reach enough where they could stay in their game plan and say, let's make this adjustment. So now let's start talking about this power read sequence, this power read adjustment that they made in the second half. First power read. This is early in the third quarter.
Okay.
Before they find it. This is when they started to find it. All right, so Vance, kind of take us through this one. This is the stalk block play. This is the stalk block play.
But I want to make a point too here. It's an unbalanced formation. It starts off with that. They have 3 receivers over here plus the tackles. So they have numbers. So it causes Michigan to make adjustments. They did a great job right now. The backside, the corners down in the box. But again, the nickel back, that's a great job. You teach him he attacks the guy, he makes him bubble. But again, for the offense, you're talking about an 8-yard gain. And so all of a sudden they got to play in light because they have numbers over here, to be honest. But again, Michigan's defensively, the nickelback did a great job. He missed a tackle here, but again, he bought time for everybody else. But now, if I want offense, I say, I got to play. I've got something that they have to adjust to right now. If I can get 7-8 yards a clip, you're going to see this play 15 times, which is about what they saw the rest of the game.
Right. And so then they came right back. They came right
Very
back.
next play.
They came right and said, oh, hold up. This is how football works, right, Vance?
That's right.
Like
exactly
you
right.
see something as a coach, hey, man, did we find something here? And they just go the other way with it.
Again, I'm going to go point out the formation first. In Michigan right now, they're in good alignment. They should have enough guys to stop this play. They're man free. They brought the corner down to the boundary, so they have enough guys. But at the end of the day, the backers are plussed over. You have numbers. They matched up pretty good. But again, they blocked the edge, and the safety came underneath the block. He has to get over the top of the block. Don't come underneath. He wouldn't block himself. This is a play he didn't show a lot of awareness. Number 30, don't go in there. Go over the top. But again, they have 1, 2, 3. They have 4 guys, 4 offensive skill guys over there. Michigan right now actually could have bumped over even more. And I'll look at the linebacker number 20. He has no reason whatsoever to be running straight ahead like it's a dive. He should be over the top because the guard is full. So he's wrong also.
Right.
So linebacker, he should be over the top.
Right. And so listen. So this is an important point. This is an important point to seize upon because this is Josh Ross. This is supposed to be Josh Ross.
Okay.
Josh Ross is out at this point with the stinger. Remember, your captain, your middle linebacker, playing some really good football. Khalil Mullings, one of the better linebackers one of the better athletes at the linebacker position for Michigan, but not nearly as experienced as Josh Ross. So this is one of those examples where you see or you feel the absence of a veteran player, and you see a young player really getting experience in the moment, in the heat, in the fire, right, Vance?
Yeah, but you know what? I could promise you that his linebacker coach is going to tell you, look at the back. The back is even. So what does that mean? He's going to go lateral. He's not going downhill. Therefore, even though he's a young guy, your linebacker has no business whatsoever going hitting the dive. There's nothing there. He wouldn't block himself. And then number 30, your nickelback, he comes underneath the block, and that's the problem right there. If he goes over the top, it might be a 2 or 3 yard gain. So again, it's just a miscues with a linebacker, defensive back going underneath the stock blocks and over the top. They had enough numbers to stop this play. It's just great execution by Rutgers. You got to give them credit.
Right, man. And so then, we start to see times where it looked like they were getting out of alignment. And you can sort of maybe explain what they needed to do to get the numbers right to match up better. Because there were a couple of instances of that, at least it seemed to me. And so I'll bring up one now. where maybe you can talk me and talk us through how it was supposed to go, how it should have looked as far as Michigan's alignment is concerned, and what you would be saying to them as their coaches, if you had these guys in the meeting room.
Right now, I say unbalanced formation. If I had a chance to prepare for this formation here, I'm going to tell my entire defensive line to move over one man. So you see the guy that's on the center, he's going to move one full gap and be on the guard.
Mm-hmm.
The next guy is going to move one full to the boundary. He's going to be on the center, and that guy's going to stay right where he is. So I'm going to kick the entire front to match up to what they're doing right now. Because if you count over there, they have only two guys weak side.
Mm-hmm. And you got
And
this
everybody
huge
else is to the
bubble in
field.
here.
We have too many guys to the boundary. But again, this goes back to they didn't have a chance to adjust on the sideline because the offense was 3 plays and out in a minute.
Right. And so you see the result.
And again, it's numbers.
Mm-hmm.
It's numbers. It's a huge gap in there. You don't have enough guys to stop this play. Look at that big gap.
You think he knew? I mean, I felt like the quarterback knew pre-snap he was going to keep this, right?
Well,
Seemed
he
like
should
it.
because right now, look at that big gap in there. The defensive end is going up the field. So to him, that's a keep. That's his read. The defensive end is up the field, I duck up. The guard is pulling around for the backer. He's there. You have an 8-yard play.
See, I think he was like, I just got to get that linebacker, that Mike. I got to get him leaning a little bit, and I think he was saying pre-snap, I'm keeping this. I just got to get that linebacker flowing just a little bit, so I give me a little crease because it
That's
was a
why if
huge
you would have
bubble in
kicked the
there.
front, if you move the front over one man, that gap's not there. It's going to be a 3 technique there instead of a shade. They don't have enough guys. They have angles on everyone. I mean,
Right, and
you
then
don't
there
have a
was,
chance. But,
and this
go
was,
back to, I think it was Northern Illinois game formation like that too. If you remember, we counted 4 men on 3. Remember that game?
mm-hmm.
You saw the same identical thing. They had more guys than what Michigan had to stop the play. So you're going to see more of these formations throughout the year until you adjust and stop it.
All right. So it seemed like the same thing right
It
here,
is.
Vance.
It's the same identical play. And again, it's a huge bubble in there. They don't have enough guys. You need to kick the front.
Right. So
Put
you
bigger
got,
guys in there. You either say, I want a big 3 technique in there, or I want a small linebacker in there. Give me that big fat guy in there. He used to taking the double teams.
yeah, and the play, it went the exact same way. You get your linebacker out here some, he sees that crease, and he is up in there for a big chunk play. But it gets back to what we were talking about, Vance. Guys are tired. Coaches, they have no time to really coach them up in a way that you would if the offense had a sustained drive. So you can sort of see how this is unfolding. And then it just felt like, things that are uncharacteristic. I mean, they are a good tackling team. It's a good tackling team that we've seen through a few games. And then it just felt like we started to see examples of fatigue setting in. This
They
was
did wear
one.
down. You're going against a physical team and you have no time to rest, that will wear you down. And that's what Michigan's offense has been doing the first 3 ball games, if you know that. They've been physically wearing people down and the defense has been fresh. So this game here was the opposite.
Michigan, they hit guys, they're stopping them in their tracks. With this game, guys are bouncing off tackles a little more. And I want to give Rutgers credit, but I also want to pay attention to the circumstances to say, hey man, Michigan hit a guy like, hey man, he's going down. But in this game, they were getting off some tackles.
But you know what? You got a good
Here's
back. He's
another
going for
example.
great leverage.
Look at that.
I know. It's one-on-one plays against a good back. It's 50-50. If I'm on offense, one-on-one, I'm supposed to win. It should be an advantage to the offense.
I mean, it just, whether it's getting off blocks or making tackles, you leave a defense on the field, as long as this one was, you're going to see that play a role in what's going on the field. Now, it makes it all the more impressive, Vance, that they were able to bow up and find a way down the stretch, because it was the 17th and 18th power scheme plays of the game. or of the half, not the game, of the half, where they found a way to make some plays. So the first one was third and short. I mean, they need it in the worst way, Vance. I mean, you see they've been gouging them, right? They've been getting them left and right. Quarterbacks getting them, running backs getting them. Well, before we get to that, let's get to the touchdown pass because I want you to dissect that. The
Okay.
one touchdown they had on the day is worthy of analysis from you before we talk about these stops that they executed well here down the stretch. So, all right, here we go, Vance. See, this one is a key one. One of the few sort of mistakes in the passing game on the day. So here we go.
And you playing man to man as the corner came across. First, don't say bad eyes. Instead of staying with his coverage, he looked at the tailback, and his receiver went right down the field for a touchdown. So you had a blown coverage. But again, it goes back to motion, because right now they're in zero coverage. Everybody's man to man on that guy. He just flat dropped his coverage because Michigan right now they're blitzing.
So tell me, Van. So now you got Vince following the receiver number 12 across the formation, right?
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
man to man. So at that point, this is still his guy right here. Is he supposed to get passed off, and then the corner takes this guy, or does he still follow his man and the linebacker is supposed to have this guy? How is that supposed to go?
I think everyone should stay on their coverage from the start. But again, see, right now, if you go back right now, Michigan right now, they appear to be in a zero blitz. So in a zero blitz right now, the linebacker has that back going up the sideline, going up for the touchdown.
Right.
But again, guess what play he's trying to defend? The power read play.
Mm-hmm.
So if he stays with his guy, it's no play. But again, what he don't realize, there's no power read. You know why? Because he's opposite where everything's going. He's not wired. Now look at his eyes. He has bad eyes right now. His eyes in the backfield still being on his key. The next thing is, if he's playing man to man, he should align wider so I can take that guy. He's already lost leverage before he ever gets started. Yep. His eyes in the backfield, and his guy's going up the field for a touchdown.
Yeah, that power read was messing with him, man.
Yes, it was. But again, you got young guys in there, as you said, and it comes down to execution. And when you have bad eyes, you're gonna make a lot of bad plays. And in this ball game, you had quite a few bad eyes at times.
Right. I mean, look, they found something that they were able to exploit. But so number 41 on that play, Nikhai Hill-Green, who's been one of the revelations for Michigan defensively. This young man had an outstanding camp, has made some plays. They got him on that play.
Yes.
But Nikhai came back. He came back. Like I talked about Brad Hawkins coming back, getting Pacheco from a couple years ago. They got Nikhai Hill-Green on this touchdown. But that 17th power play of the game, where it's 3rd and 1, guess who showed up? It was number 41. Nikhai Hill-Green showed up, made a huge play, Vance, a huge play right here. And you can explain why they got this one so right when they had to be gassed at this point. And they've seen it 16 other times. They probably had a high hit rate. They probably hit 80% of those plays for 5 or more yards, it seemed like at that point. But here on this particular play, Nikhai wasn't buying it. He wasn't buying it. So here we go. 3rd and 1 in the 4th quarter.
You know what the difference in that play, though? The D-line. The difference in that play was penetration. And this is not really the power read play. This is more of a power play. Quarterback went out the back door.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just a one-back power. So now everybody can play down here. But it started up front. Other times the D-line was not winning the line of scrimmage. Look at that key right there. He won the line of scrimmage. So now the backer was clinging to the ball. He does his job. He makes a great play.
Yeah, so 17th power scheme of the game, not necessarily power read, but 17th power based play.
Yes.
Of the half. 17th. Wow. So imagine what they're saying over there in that box. Like, man, these dudes can't stop the power. Whatever we want off the power, they can't stop it. But so you would think after that, Vance, Michigan just stoned that one. They're gonna do something different. They're gonna come off the power because they feel like maybe they went to the well one time too many. Nope.
Yeah, but see, on that last play, I'd have run the power read on that play. I wouldn't run the power. I'd run the power read. Power is different. It's easier play to defend. Power read is a different play because you have to now defend the quarterback. They
All
got
right.
too cute on Rutgers got too cute on that play.
All right. So let's go then to the 18th power scheme of the game. Very next play. Now it's 4th and 2. Now it's 4th and 2. All right. So talk us through this one because you know they're gassed. They got to get off the field. They got to make a play and give the offense a chance to close this one out. All right. So here we
Yeah, the
go.
first thing I look at the formation. That's an advantage for us on
I
defense
said the
because
same
now
thing. See,
we
now
bring everybody
let me
into
pause. Let me pause for a second,
yeah.
Vance. I thought the same thing. See, now I feel good. You validating what I'm seeing with my eyes. I was like, oh man, they bring all 11 guys in the box.
Yeah,
Thank you.
they
This
helped
gotta
us
be
out.
has to be good for Michigan.
Yeah, this is an advantage for us. And right now, you can see we have everybody on the line of scrimmage. If they would have had us spread out like they did the other 15 plays, it might have been different. But they got too cute again and figured, well, offensive line more physical. We're gonna knock them off the ball. They were wrong. And this is a power read here. But because we got more numbers around the ball than we have, and they spread us out, we made the play. We got a couple of guys unblocked this time.
Yeah, more hats around the ball. You don't have the numbers advantage like you had when you had them
Exactly.
spread out.
See, not they're in a balanced formation, so we're in a balanced formation. And the other plays, they were in overload formations, and we were always short. They actually helped us out.
Man, and look at Chris Hinton. He's like, whoo, you can see, look, he can't even celebrate like he want to, man. He's so tired. It's like, man, we we got off the field. And they still had to come back. Offense still wasn't able to close the game out. Defense had to come back on the field and close it out themselves by forcing a turnover. So let's put this game, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Nice, neat, and fine. Vance. At the end of the day, they gave up one touchdown. At the end of the day, they bowled up when they had to, despite getting no help from the offense. That does not mean that there are not things that they need to take away from this game to improve for improvement moving forward. They won't see Power Reed versus Wisconsin. They don't have a quarterback like that. But rest assured, when they see a team like Nebraska, they're going to see it. They're going to see some things with motion and alignment. I'm sure they'll see something like that against Wisconsin. So what would you be saying to your team right now? What would you be coaching them through in
The
practice?
first thing we're going to talk about are formation adjustments. And we're going to see more of unbalanced and overload formations. So no matter what defense we're in, the first thing I do is get my front lined up as far as what I want to get done. And we were short quite a bit because, again, as you said, they never had a chance to rest and make adjustments on the sideline in the second half because I think Michigan at one point had a total of 42 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you have no chance to correct the problem. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to walk through all of our base defenses and how to get a line to unbalance and tackle over formation. So because you're going to see that the rest of the year. Wisconsin is going to show you that. Northwestern is might show you that because they would like to run some power read play. Nebraska is definitely going to show you that. So we got to first thing we're going to do is get a line properly. And now we're going to have certain defenses we want to use when we get to each formation to attack. If I was Michigan again, one of my checks is going to be bringing a strong safety and the Sam from the field off the edge. I don't make you into the short side of the field. That's been a very successful call for them so far this season. But if I can get my front of the line correctly, we're going to be okay. We can hold somebody to 7 points every ball game. We will win a lot of ball games this year. And that's what I'm going to tell the guys. Yeah, we gave up some yards. We had some adjustment issues. But at the end of the day, when it came down to it, we stopped them on 4th down. We got the ball back for the offense. And that's what we got to do on defense the rest of this year. If we do that, we got a chance to compete and win the Big Ten championship. And that's what it's all about at Michigan.
Yeah, man. I mean, it sounds like they're going to get Josh Ross back. So they'll have their captain and middle linebacker back in the game. You did feel, well, I guess we can't go without showing an Aiden Hutchinson play, right? Just feel like you got to show Aiden at least once a week, right? So Aiden came through with another sack. So let's go ahead and highlight the big fella who's having himself a heck of a season. I think he's up to 5.5 sacks now. With this one added to his ledger here, Van. So let's give him a little love for continuing to make plays for his team.
I think he's trying to catch his dad.
You think so?
He has a long way to go, though.
Yeah, he does. He does, but he's on a good pace right now. As
This
you
is
see him on this play.
this is great recognition. This is great recognition right here. A lot of young defensive ends would have keyed the tackle, and he'd have stepped down, and the tight end would have blocked him. He saw the tight end in motion, and look at him get back outside. That is a fantastic play. That shows great awareness right there. And that's something, I'll be honest, you can't coach that. A lot of guys say, I can coach that. Now, sometimes kids got to overcome coaching. This young man overcame a lot of coaching, showed great awareness, and made a fantastic play. I love that play. I love that play. I can coach that kid. You know what you do? Don't screw him up. Don't screw him up. Hey, baby, just overcome my coaching today and go play ball. And that's what he just
Is that what it was with your guys with Charles, with RW McCorders,
I
dudes
tell
like
them all
that?
the time, so I don't give you 3 or 4 techniques and I go play. Now, if you start screwing those things up, you will see me again. so you turn them loose and say, hey, go play. Go have some fun, and we're going to win some ball games. And that's what those kids always did for me.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they give the guys, give the guys, the players of the game steak, give the other guys beans and weenies. But if they do, the defense got steak this week because the defense closed that game out for them and really saved the team. Got to give them a lot of credit for that. Now you go on the road against a wounded team in Wisconsin who's been turning the football over left and right. But you know they're gonna play better at home, Vance.
They're going to run the ball. They are going to try to pound us. They're going to look at this game of Rutgers, and they're going to find a way to use some of those plays. Even though they don't have the same type of quarterback, I'm going to try to run that play, the power read play. I'm going to run tackle over, unbalance to see can you get a line properly. I'm going to motion to see can you make the proper adjustments and play with the proper eyes. Those are the things we talked about last week. How would you attack the defense? You saw it. They did it. So if I'm Wisconsin, I want to take a few of the things I just seen. If I have it in my playbook, you will see it. I'm going to make you defend those plays.
Gotcha. All right, Vance, another film session in the book, man. Like I told you, folks, transitioning to StreamYard, new equipment on the telestrations. We will bring those back to you next week. Hopefully, you'll join us then when we have another Michigan Insider Defensive Film Study with Vance Bedford.
Go Blue.